So they win one game, and you come in with your Phillies shirt. This is the hunt for Red October.
That's right.
How about Craig Kimbrell? Still using the old signs? So he deliberately balks
I love
to get Josh Bell off a second.
I love it.
All right, okay.
That was epic.
Well, he did it twice. He had to
He had to do it twice because he had to look back and say, hey, it's a balk.
He said, I'm trying to balk here. All right, so a couple things on the playoffs. Number one, lowest attended postseason game since the 1919 World Series between the White Sox and the Reds, which, of course, was the, quote, Black Sox scandal. They had 19,000 yesterday in St. Petersburg for the Texas 4-0 win over Tampa Bay. 19,000. So a couple of points. One, the game was at 3 in the afternoon on a Tuesday.
Right.
Two, it was not announced until Sunday night. Well, let's be fair here. It was not announced till Sunday night. You were playing 3 o'clock on a Tuesday on a work day. Okay. It wasn't as if people had time to prepare. 19,000 is still a low number. Now, when Tampa does build their new ballpark, it is going to be a 30,000-seat ballpark. That's going to be it, 30. We are seeing a downsizing in sports ballparks, stadiums, and so forth because, again, the influence of TV and so forth, and they also want to make sure there's demand on tickets. Even notice Buffalo. At one point, Ralph Wilson Stadium, which is now Highmark Stadium, I believe.
I believe so, yeah.
At one point, it was an 80,000-seat facility. 80,000. They don't seat 80,000 there now, and the new stadium is going to be 65. That's in Buffalo. That tells you something, right? FedEx Field.
Yeah, right.
That's a 90,000-seat stadium. They are now tarping the upper decks because Daniel Snyder has ruined the franchise. And
for years to come, I think. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
He's ruined the franchise. Mm-hmm. But again, they're downsizing. Yeah. If they build a new stadium, whether it's in Virginia or wherever, it's probably going to be 65,000 seats. There's not going to be more than that because that's going to be the trend moving forward. But you had 19,000 people there yesterday. Major League Baseball didn't announce the start time until Sunday night.
Sunday night, yeah.
They got the Tuesday 3 o'clock slot and limited attendance. Credit where credit's due to the Minnesota Twins, who have been swept repeatedly in the playoffs. They finally, after 18 consecutive losses, won a playoff game yesterday.
It's been a while.
They won 3-1.
So the curse of Joe Mauer's double that was called foul.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
And credit where credit's due there, the Twins won. The Twins were, I believe, the only team in the Central that actually finished over 500.
Yeah, it was a terrible division this year.
Yes,
yeah,
it
absolutely.
Was.
And there's no excuse for it. The White Sox have so much talent. The Guardians are better. It's just
right.
I didn't understand it.
Right. Nobody did. And that is. But they won the game 3-1, and they will play this afternoon. Royce Lewis has really been good.
Yep.
He has really been good for them.
Yep.
He had 2 more home runs yesterday, and he was the reason why they won. The game was at Target Field.
Yeah.
The Diamondbacks. Arizona went out last night, beat the Brewers 6-3. When they needed clutch plays, Evan Longoria came up with 2 big plays in the field. One he botched and then made up for it on the same play, where he was able to get Christian Yelich at second base because he overran the bag. And the other one was just a great stab. And then when they needed a big hit in the 9th inning, Walker delivered a two-run laser. I mean, it was a laser to center field. And, of course, typical ESPN. Right? Would have been a home run in 11 of 30 ballparks. It doesn't matter. It's not a home run in this park. Like, where do you come? I mean, You sit back and you ask yourself, you're the All Sports Network. Figure out how to broadcast sports. Right? They can't figure it out.
That's awful.
That's like Monday Night Football. They finally figured out how to do Monday Night Football. They got Joe Buck and Troy Aikman and Lisa Salters.
Mm-hmm.
They finally figured out how to do Monday Night Football. You notice how they don't do the next gen stats thing anymore. They don't do the other. You notice they don't do all that stuff. They just do the game now. And the broadcast is exponentially better. Like, the All Sports Network has never really figured out how to do sports. We want to be cutting edge. You're not good at it.
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm watching the baseball thing. You said, where's all this worthless stuff you put up?
It doesn't matter.
It's worthless.
Yeah. What matters most, she had a big 2-out hit that gave you insurance runs that mattered.
I'm sitting there.
That's the biggest stat that matters.
Now, off the bat, it was, I don't know, was it 112? No, that's it there. That's an interesting stat.
Yeah.
I'm glad you put that up there. Would have been a home run in 11 out of 30 ballparks. It doesn't matter. The guy played it off the wall. It's not a home run here.
No.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay? It doesn't matter. All ballparks.
Scored a run that you need that would help as an insurance run. Most important part.
Yeah. It's a playoff game. They needed the runs. And then the Phillies last night. Zach Wheeler was outstanding.
Absolutely.
Some
incredible.
guys have the ability to rise to the moment in the postseason, and when all around them is pressure packed, they're like, hey, they can just, okay, and that's Wheeler. Wheeler has been a good postseason pitcher.
Sure has.
All the way through. Last night, we only went a mere 6 2/3, 5 hits, 1 run, struck out 8. How many guys did he walk? None. Threw 100 pitches, 2/3 of them were strikes. Some guys are just great in that spot.
Yeah.
Is John Lester a Hall of Famer? No. Is John Lester a great postseason pitcher? Yep. Some guys are just really good in that spot. And how about the base running of Bryce Harper?
Yeah.
You can't put a price on a guy that plays that hard.
Absolutely.
That wants to win that much.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Harper.
Just knowing the situation, knowing the moment, knowing where the ball was, and that's...
But Harper always plays hard.
Yep. Always.
As great a player as David Ortiz was, and as great a clutch player as David Ortiz was, if David Ortiz had a ground ball to second, he'd jog down to first. Do you think Harper would ever jog to first?
Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance.
Harper feels like there's a responsibility to play as hard as he can.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yes.
And I just admire how he plays the game.
Yeah. And
always have.
I don't want to jinx it by any means. There's still 8 years left on it, but he is one of the few that has earned that $330 million contract. Those $300 million contracts, a lot of times in baseball, those 10-year deals, 11-year deals do not work out. It's shown time and time again. Bryce Harper has been worth every penny thus far to the Phillies in those first 5 seasons.
Bryce Harper, look, who else comes back from that surgery that
quick? Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
Who then comes back from that surgery and hits 293?
Yeah.
He does.
Justin plays first base.
Right.
Yeah.
Plays a new position.
Yeah.
Hits 21 home runs.
Yeah.
Drives in 72. Right. Ends up playing 126 games. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is the way this guy is.
And what he's done in the postseason too has been incredible.
I feel like he's always been a terrific postseason player.
Even with the Nationals.
Always.
And
yeah,
you look at what he did.
And I've talked about his postseason when he was with Washington.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I love watching this guy play.
Same.
Because guess what? He plays. Like, he's the kind of guy where you sit back and you say, okay, kids, let's sit down. How's the game?
Absolutely.
How should the game be played?
Yes.
Right? And by the way, I could take out a tape of Ronald Acuna Jr. Love how he plays. You could show him the same tape. Ronald Acuna Jr. plays hard.
Same.
All the time. He's all out.
Absolutely.
Why did he get hurt? He got hurt because he was playing all out.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at Bryce Harper's first game at first base, making the catch he made that day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Acuna, same thing. No doubt about it. He has 70 stolen bases. He's going to probably be the only member of the 40-70 club. Not that that's almost sounds like an ESPN stat too, but it's again literally the only member of the 40-70 club that I'm going to hear for some time, and that's how good Acuna is. He's going to be the league MVP, as good as Mookie Betts has been this year. I don't think he was at Acuna level. I think Acuna is going to be the MVP, and he's earned it.
Harper, they were trying to stop him at third. He didn't even.
Well,
I'm sorry. He's got the play in front of him. He knows.
Yeah, he knows. Well, that's two things. He knows. He's got the play in front of him. And you go back to the first inning, I still to this have no idea why they stopped Kyle Schwarber. You have an outfielder going completely away from the plate, having to make an off-balance throw. You got to send him there. Fortunately, it doesn't come back to hurt them. But in that spot, you've got to send Schwarber in first. And I think Harper probably partly remembered that and went through the stop sign too. But absolutely knew where the ball was, scored an important run. And Phillies obviously pitching came up big, hitting was incredible. Every guy in the lineup got a hit. So no doubt about it, complete game, and need to keep that up.
Okay, so tonight, Aaron Nola goes for the Phillies, trying to clinch it, and Braxton Garrett will be on the mound for Miami. So that's tonight at 8. The leadoff game again is at 3. It's still Tampa Bay and Texas again. It's on ABC. Zach Eflin's going to go for the Rays today.
Philly?
And a guy that has pitched very well in the postseason in his career, Nathan Eovaldi, goes for Texas looking to clinch it on the road. That's the 3 o'clock game on ABC. Blue Jays and Twins will play at Target Field at 4:30. That's on ESPN. Sonny Gray, who did really well this year for the Twins. He had a 2.79 ERA. And struck out 183. Jose Berrios is going to go for the Blue Jays in that one. So Twins at 4:30 at home. Okay, Milwaukee at home. They need to win. Freddie Peralta is going to go for them tonight. That game is going to be, again, opposite the Phillies game. It's going to be 7 o'clock on ESPN2. And it's going to be Freddie Peralta against Zach Gallen. And Gallen, by the way, was really good this year. He was the 17-game winner for the D-backs. Peralta was the 12-game winner for the Brewers. He actually led the Brewers in wins. Gallen led the D-backs in wins, and he had a 3.47 ERA. And not only that, they both are big strikeout guys. Peralta struck out 210 this year, and Gallen struck out 220. And I already gave you the Marlins and the Phillies matchup. Your guy, Noah, who speaks very highly of you,
well, he has visited my hometown of Pottsville. He must have met a lot of the people that recognize me.
ESPN tonight. He probably stopped at the police department.
He might have. He stopped at the police department and the popular brewery. But yes,
over here. I just want to see.
Make sure that restraining order still works.
That Jason Lord thing that we talked about. So that is tonight. All right, now let's get to this. The NCAA Division I Council approved changes to the transfer portal windows. They are going to shrink the number of days student-athletes to enter their name in the portal. The rule change will impact all sports and give players 45 total days throughout the entire year to enter their names into the portal. Each sport will have 45 total days, but it will be divided differently by sport. For example, the window for college football would open the day after the college football playoff teams are announced. So this, okay. So that would be this year would be December 4th would be the day. It would be open for 45 days. The next period would be open from April 15th to April 30th. That's going to stay the same. So what's going to happen is under the new rule, you're going to have 30 days, not 45. It's going to be 45 total days. You have 30 days to put your name into the transfer portal starting on this year will be December 4th is the Monday after, right? And it will stay open for 30 days after that. So it would stay open until January 2nd?
2nd or 3rd, yeah.
sounds right. Okay, because it's a 31-day month.
Yep.
So 27, it could be what?
Third.
Yeah, it's 27 days,
Yep.
3 days, January 3rd. Okay. And then there's going to be the 15-day spring window, which is in that April 15 to 30 range. The Division I Council has proposed changes to the portal in January, which has seen a reduction from 60 total days to 30, but voted on Tuesday instead to shrink it to 45. The 30-day window at the end of the season, starting with the day after the college football playoff announcement, and then the other 15 days in April. Once a name is in the portal, she or he is allowed to have contact with other coaches and can transfer at any time. Graduate students are still able to enter their name in the portal anytime they want without penalty. I mean, you have your degree, so, which is fine. So that's what they're going to do with the portal. They're looking to get some sort of handle on it. And when they put the rule in, I'm sure that a group of the intellectuals sat around the room and said, what could possibly go wrong? Okay.
They never think about what could go wrong first, do they?
The first thing you always have to do, Jason, always.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, let's go around the room. What are the unintended consequences? What can everybody...
and
there's going to be something that will come up that nobody thinks of, and that's
Absolutely.
fair. But let's go around the room. What? Okay, give me something that you think could go wrong with this. Right?
And it's good to have that person that says something you didn't think about because now it's on your mind.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, no, that, before you enact it, that's got to be the first question you ask.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys. Okay, let's go around the room. Let's think. Let's brainstorm here. Let's stay here for a while, not just do it fast.
Absolutely.
Let's discuss what are some unintended consequences you can think of here that we may have to tweak. Now, something is always going to come up that you don't. Oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Because it happens.
It happens. Absolutely.
Because it does happen. That's okay. But if you do this for a living, you can come up with some of the unintended consequences. Maybe not all, but some. And go from there. But yeah, that's... Time now for 49. Good. San Francisco seconds with the pressure squarely on your football team this week.
And big time. This is a game that I think is very dangerous. Dallas has lost 2 straight to this team. I don't think there's any doubt this is going to be a very difficult game. And this is where I think the offense has to continue to step up because Dan Quinn's going to dial up a defense that is going to aim to shut down McCaffrey. I don't think there's any doubt.
Say this, the Dallas defense and the Niners defense are really good. I mean, this is going to be mano a mano, toe to toe, center of the ring. They're going to trade some leather
I think so.
for a few hours. It's going to be a great game. I think it has the chance to be a great game.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's in Santa Clara, which is like, the mecca of football. I went to the 49ers practice facility once because we literally stayed in a hotel next to it. I could actually see it from my room. So I went down and went over there. First thing is security. You know the first thing is security outside when I went in?
Yeah.
That's your picture. All right, so...
that early again.
Keep this guy out.
Even DeBartolo banned me. I knew the Yorks banned me.
This guy out.
Even DeBartolo kept me out.
Because I was out there to do the Cable Car Classic, and it was in San Jose.
Yeah.
And so we stayed in Santa Clara. In fact, played Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Steve Nash.
Oh, yeah.
Penn State won the game. Nash had 10. Danny Earl had 19.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, no, it was really... In fact, Penn State won the tournament. Beat Bradley. Bradley beat Stephen Marbury and Georgia
Tech, yeah.
Georgia Tech finished last because Nash... So I'm getting ready for the championship game. It's going to be great. Bradley had Parker, who ended up with the Sixers as a first-round pick. Anthony Parker.
Anthony Parker. Oh, okay. Yeah, Bradley. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yep.
It's a
Anthony Parker. Yep, I remember.
University in Peoria, Illinois. Known as the Braves.
Yep. I remember Parker.
The Missouri Valley Conference.
Yep. Now I got you.
You scared me. Penn State won the game like 72-70. The first game, Santa Clara beat Georgia Tech for 3rd place. Marbury played great. Nash played great. It was like,
that's awesome.
I figured to myself, Penn State is won this tournament. All 4 teams made the NCAAs that year. All 4.
Yeah.
So that was my trip to Santa Clara. God, go up there. Wow. He said, have you seen this man? In a good picture.
Can't believe it.
Right?
Even as a kid, they were throwing. Yeah, that's.
And they had this great picture off to the side. Our beloved secondary mascot. This little dog named Patches.
Matt Ryan used that and said that's your kryptonite and beat the 49ers a couple years back when Julio scored in the touchdown. It's amazing how
there you go.
That picture makes its rounds.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But more.
Yeah, this is kind of scary. He said, do you know this guy? I said, not yet. I said, I hope I never work with him.
It's like, speaking of Steve Nash, that was when, met Mark Cuban for first time at the bar. He offered to buy Dirk and Nash a drink. Said no. He thought he was completely weird. Not a couple months later, there's your new owner. Remember me?
Whoops. I mean, that guy we blew off in the bar. Excuse me, can we buy you drinks? Well, Nowitzki, Chuck Swenson recruited him.
I know. Yeah.
I think he came here.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah,
he came here for a visit.
Yep.
Visited the Jordan Center and the whole deal. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could even make the argument he changed the international game into the NBA level.
Oh, no doubt.
The ability to shoot that outside shot, the ability on the post game. Yeah, he absolutely was a huge impact to the internet. And I give Drazen Petrovic credit too. I think he was taken way too soon. I think he was a guy that absolutely was on the verge of doing that. But yeah, Nowitzki to me was that guy at his height. Just could do so many things that you didn't see at that level at that time.
Sure. No question. So, I mean, there you are. That's what's going on. It's one of those light days. We got, now not light day because we got baseball playoff action. Weather was great around the country. Next week, it is going to feel like October baseball. I
heard about that.
All right, it's going to feel like October, man. I mean, last night, Philadelphia, it's 74 degrees, first pitch. It can't be any nicer. Right? I think Carl Ravitch said, perfect night for baseball? You got that right. Okay? Then, Sunday, 59, Monday, 52, 55 on Tuesday. Then we get 60, 63, 60, 59 Saturday.
And these are highs?
These are the highs. It's going to feel like October. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
It's going to feel like October. Let's see. Do we get to see 70 again? No!
Well, that got shut down quick.
I just looked at the advance here. No!
Yeah, I'm looking all the way through. Yeah, oh boy.
I think 63 is the highest temperature I see in here for the next couple of months.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't look good.
No, it does not.
Dropping down, you get into Tuesday, a week from now, you're down to 40. That's a low.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting close to frost.
Now, how deep into the high school football season is this? Week 7?
It's going to be week 7, yeah. Confusing a little bit for State Hogs. They didn't play that week 3 game. Yeah, it is week 7 because you're going to have Carlisle yet, Harrisburg this week. Carlisle, Harrisburg, week, right? Cumberland Valley. Yeah, this is week 7. They played 6 games.
Carlisle is where?
They've struggled. Where Carlisle is location?
Here's the game.
Oh, that's at Harrisburg. At Carlisle.
Where is the game?
It's at Carlisle.
Okay. I know we started earlier today.
Yeah, that one was bad. It's on the road.
And I realize that you might not be, because you don't normally get in gear until 11:45.
Yeah, it usually takes a while to get rid of it.
45 minutes into the show. All right, well, we're a half hour into it now, and it's just like, there's no way at the 45-minute mark you're even going to get gas. I mean, what are you doing to that?
It's one of the long road trips that remains. It's I play at Carlisle. And then,
It's on the road.
It is on the road.
Okay.
Then you got Cumberland Valley and Mechanicsburg as well. A place you'd like to play again in December because that's the host of the state championship. Chapman
What do you
Field.
think about the move from Hershey?
I think it had to be done because Hershey didn't upgrade enough. I think that's really where, and I can make the argument, I don't know if Hershey needed it. I think they certainly had the parking. They certainly had everything around it, but the facility itself, I think, probably had to be upgraded a little bit more. They put the turf in because they had to. Right. You go back to when they got that heavy rain and on that grass, couldn't hold it. But I think there was a lot of things that locker rooms needed to be upgraded. I think as a whole, facility as a whole needed to be upgraded. And I just don't think they were willing to do it. And I don't think in their mind they necessarily needed to do it. They make a lot of revenue off of Hershey Park Stadium. They didn't necessarily need the state championships for football to be there. So sure. I think the move was probably needed. I would have loved to have seen Altoona get them back, but the parking situation in Mansion Park is difficult. I think there's no going around that. It's very difficult to host several teams on a weekend in December in Altoona. It just is because of the parking situation. Facility-wise, Mansion Park is in the top 3 or 4 in the state. Problem is the parking. Chapman Field has that. I think they upgraded everything, upgraded the grass, upgraded the field itself, and 2 press boxes. I think they're not big enough. They're gonna have to figure that part out. I think that when you look at media last year for the state championship, they had trouble accommodating them. They're gonna have to figure that part out. But I think as a whole, they're listening to the PIAA. They're listening to what upgrades they need to make, and they're doing it. I don't think Hershey wanted to do it, and I don't think in their mind they needed to do it to keep the state championships.
Yeah. Okay.
But yes, the game is in Carlisle Friday night for those wondering if they can make the trip or not. Thundering Herd team that has struggled this year.
Not as much as that last segment.
One's not in the Hall of Fame for me.
You know what? In this business, if you can't laugh at yourself.
In
fact, in life.
Yeah.
If you can't laugh at yourself.
Yeah, you're gonna be miserable. I can tell you that right now if you can't do it.
Okay, so we have not really talked about Taylor Swift because it's not Metallica, and you have it's in your contract. You only are allowed to talk about one group.
That's right. Taylor Swift's too local.
Yeah.
Why a missing girl?
So let's take this. Let's expand it out beyond what's going on. Every sport and every TV entity looks at all their demographics.
Sure.
Viewership on sports, for the most part, skews a little older.
Yeah.
So let's take baseball, for example. Baseball playoffs are going on. Baseball attendance, by the way, as we pointed out yesterday, up 9.7%, which is a real credit to the changes they made in the game, the excitement, the whole thing. And as you know, I love baseball. Right? You're just a front runner.
That's right.
No, he loves baseball too. And so let's give credit where credit's due. But the average viewing age is 52 of watching a game. TV ratings, by the way, up all over the place. Pirates, by the way, TV broadcasts had some of the highest jumps in percentage this year. And the Pirates' TV ratings were up 25% from the year before. So that tells you something. The Yankees, Mets, by the way, were down 25%. The Padres, despite all the problems, were only down 7%. So it's like, okay, it's interesting. When I saw the full breakdown of who was way up and who was treading water. But everybody is looking at the coveted. Okay, mostly it's 25 to 54, right?
Yeah.
But The one that the networks cover and what the sports cover is 18 to 34. Well, why? Well, let's be honest. 25 to 54, those are the people that spend the money.
Spend the money. Absolutely.
Okay? I mean, they spend the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe 25 to 64, whatever, but they spend the money. Okay? But why is 18 to 34 so coveted? Because eventually they're going to be in the 25 to 54 group, and they want them ingrained in watching their sport by the time they get to be 25 to 54. That's why the 18 to 34 mark is so coveted. That's why when we talked to Tony Knopf, we talked about why soccer does so well with young fans. The fact that they can get the thing done in 100 minutes. The clock runs. It doesn't stop. It keeps going. You know what I mean? And people go in. It's not as expensive in the MLS and so forth. Yes, the MLS loses money, but they do draw fans. So that's why Tony and I have talked about it, because it does do well with the 18 to 34 demographic.
Right.
So now let's stretch this out to Taylor Swift. What has happened in the last 2 weeks? She attended the Bears-Chiefs game because of Travis Kelce, and she was at MetLife for the Jets and the Chiefs on Sunday night. Those two games have been, outside of the Super Bowl, have been the two highest rated games since the Super Bowl in terms of total viewership. Her mere presence is actually bringing 18 to 34s to watch the game.
Right.
It may not, again, I've said this 1,000 times, we'll make it 1,001. The diehard fan is always going to be there.
Right.
What makes a great rating is the interest from the casual fan. Like, oh, okay, hey, well, that looks like a good game, I'll watch that. Hey, well, I can't wait to watch that Mahomes play. Hey, I can't wait to watch Bryce Harper play. Hey, I can't wait to watch Connor McDavid play. Hey, I can't wait to watch Steph Curry play. Right? And the casual fan takes a really good rating and ticks it up to a great rating. I mean, do you think all 110,000 people in Beaver Stadium are die-hard football fans? Or are there a bunch of, they love Penn State football, they've grown up on Penn State football, and you've got the absolute die-hard, they know everything about every player, everything. They know the scheme better than the coaches, you know. So, right? But they're into it. But what the difference between that diehard that's in Beaver Stadium and the 110,000 are the people that are the casual fans. They love the tailgate, the atmosphere. They love the blue band. They love, the cheerleaders, the dance team. They love the football team, whatever. They don't really know all that much about UMass or Iowa or wherever it may be. They know some, but, not as much. But they're there because they just love the whole thing, right? And then the diehards there no matter what. It could be pouring rain, diehards sitting there. It could be 10 below zero, diehards sitting there, okay? Well, in TV, that's that casual fan makes the really good rating and makes it a great rating.
Yep.
So now back to Taylor Swift. What she's done. Just by showing up, and the networks, of course, are taking advantage of it.
Sure.
You are now getting people in the 18 to 34 range that weren't watching before that are now watching the games. Really? I mean, it is no coincidence that a Bears-Chiefs game, now yes, it's Chicago, and a Chiefs-Jets game, yes, it's New York, but there's no Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Now imagine if Rodgers is playing, what the number could be. But that's the effect that she's had because she is drawing in an audience that the NFL and the networks are absolutely coveting. They're getting more viewership in the 18 to 34 just because she's sitting behind a plate of glass.
Sure.
Right. Now, are they getting criticized for showing her too much? Sure. Well, you're the network guys. You're looking around saying, I'm sorry, I need people watching the game. So they're trying to show you the game, show you her, whatever. I mean, I know what they're doing and why they're doing it, but those are the ratings that they're getting right now. And instead of getting, let's just pick a number. Instead of getting between 20 and 22 or 23 million, they're now getting 25, 26 million. How about that? Is that about what they're getting in those 2 games?
Yeah, they got 33 first week.
33?
Bears, yeah. And I think, and
I mean, so I know people have been, because it's easy to be, everybody wants to be critical of everything. I'm trying to take this from a 30,000-foot level and say, okay, why do they got to show her? Okay, that's fine. You want to watch the game. Mm-hmm. I'm with you. I'd rather watch the game too. No, with all due respect, all due respect, I don't care if she's at the game.
Oh, most don't, other than the fans. Fans I've heard.
In other words, I don't care.
Right.
I remember when Regis Philbin came here to see Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you think? I said, that's nice. I'm glad he's here.
Yeah.
Okay. Snoop Dogg was on the sideline for the Rose Bowl. Okay, great. All right, that's nice. I mean, I don't get fazed by it. So to me, it's all about the game. Mm-hmm. But I think it's great they're there.
Sure.
Right?
Right.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hugh Jackman was there. Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds. Mm-hmm. They're all in the same box.
Yep. Okay.
That's fine. But at some point they're going to go back and they're going to show you the game. They're not going to miss plays.
No, they're not.
They're not going to miss plays.
They don't.
Right? But that is the effect that someone like that has. She's had a terrific career to this point. Mm-hmm. Right now she's at her peak. Now, how long she can stay at that peak, who knows? I don't know. Nobody can guess that. She's got a movie coming out.
Yeah.
About the tour?
The cinema, yeah.
When's that coming out?
I wonder if it coincides with the second leg of her tour. I think it might.
Oh, she's got more tour to go?
Yeah, she's got more tour dates coming here in the States.
Yeah.
But it also explains to a lot of people why ESPN tries as hard as it does to keep the NBA. They have that demographic. So that's one of the hardest.
That's exactly right. That's
one of the hardest demographics.
There you go. After really botching the high school football thing, you come up with this little gem. That's good. There you go, boy. Your ability to bounce back and get on point. That is.
Right. It's like throwing the interception. I finally throw the 70-yard touchdown.
I spent 40 minutes trying to get some nugget out of you, so I've done 20 different topics. None of them worked.
And now, granted, they don't show.
You are so right about that. Okay, the value of the NBA, you are so right about that, is they deliver a demographic that people are aching to get.
Absolutely. And look, celebrities go to NBA games. They don't show Jack 19 times. I get that. But you still they have that demographic reach. And that's, to me, it's so rare to get. You just talked about baseball. They may never find it. And that's just the way the world has changed right now. As you look at it with soccer and basketball, its popularity growing, both, baseball going down.
Baseball this year went up.
Baseball has gone up, but that demographic, that audience has gone down.
Struggle.
Yeah.
But they are seeing more younger people watch. And then let's just see, when you get to the World Series.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah. Especially if your city is in it.
There are people that show up.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I remember going to Game 2 of the 2004 World Series, showing the second Bloody Sock game. Not the game's over. Red Sox won 6-2, showing pitch parade, and I parked my car at the Prudential Center, which is about a mile away. It's fine. You just got to walk through the back bay and so forth. I mean, they'd have mugged you.
They might have.
No, but it's like
they might have.
They're just a target. And I'm walking out, and all of a sudden I'm walking through, and there's an SUV there, and I stop for a second because two people went by. Not because I just stopped to be polite. It wasn't because it was Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. Right? Well, Affleck, he grew up in Boston.
Yeah, big Red Sox
and he
fan.
was
Absolutely.
married to her at the time. Right? I'm like, okay, great. It's like, that's great. They went to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so, so baseball will draw that kind of star power based on the teams that are in.
Yeah.
Okay? But you're right. It's a coveted demographic. By the way, back to our good friends at ESPN. Like, you got to be good at radio. I'm sorry. There are things that they do. I sit back.
Oh, there's a lot of things that they do that I stare at and say, what?
How about last night in the ninth inning? It's the top of the ninth inning. And they did this 3 times. Right in the middle of what's going on. They showed
highlights.
I
remember that. Yeah. I wondered what the heck. I thought it was a glitch.
The first time, I thought it was a glitch.
Yeah, so did I. I had no idea what they were doing there. No idea.
Then they showed it a second time.
Yeah. Yeah, I had no idea what they were doing.
And then they showed it a third time. I'm thinking, what are we doing here?
That was bizarre. I was with you. I thought it was a glitch. I didn't know what I stopped.
Well, it was a glitch. It had to be a glitch.
It had to be. I hope so. It was probably something like Van Pelt. They were previewing it or something, but good Lord. Yeah,
because
I remember.
They showed something from the Rays game, and then they showed something from the Twins game.
Then
the man of Royce Lewis hitting a home run.
Then the Harper running around bases.
No, then they showed the D-backs thing.
Well, that was the last thing they showed. They showed the D-backs high five at the end.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and they showed Harper scoring from third. Okay, but then they showed it the second time. Like, what are you doing? What are we doing here? Then they showed it the third time. I'm thinking, over here in the back, what idiot's in charge of this?
Fortunately, Craig Kimbrell was busy balking. He didn't miss a pitch.
Yeah.
And it was literally, it was completely baffling.
Well, and nobody referenced it.
No.
They just did it.
No, and the first time I get it, because you're probably staring at each other saying, what the heck? But after that, you do your best in radio or TV to not acknowledge the technical difficulties. You always do that just because you know they're part of it. You move on right away. Yeah. But when it happens frequently, you got to recognize it. There's nothing you can do. People want to know what's going on at that point.
I mean, what are we doing? Now, I realize probably the thought process up in the booth was probably simple. Hey, don't throw anybody under the bus here.
Yeah, but still, you can do it without naming names.
You got to be sitting there going, what the heck are we doing?
Yeah. Especially the fact that he rides the ninth inning. We're not talking the bottom of the fourth.
With 2 outs. Okay? Okay? Okay. We got 2 outs. We're 1 out away from seeing the thing end. Right? And suddenly out of nowhere,
here come highlights.
Okay, here come highlights.
They're fortunate it was about 15, 20 seconds and not 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the other part of it.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. They are not alone in these boneheaded stats and analysis at times. Other networks have done the same thing, and I'm still baffled by that. But they have taken the cake on it because they've done it so many times.
Yeah.
That's the other part of it.
Fortunately, they were live when the ball was grounded by De La Cruz to Alec Bone to end the game.
Yeah.
See, who's running this thing? We're the worldwide leader in sports. I can tell you right now, in my living room, like, you're barely getting by. What are you doing here? Right. Yay.
That was bad.
I mean, I decided to look up the definition of awkward in the dictionary, and those clips came up. This is awkward. What are we doing? Oh, goodness gracious. And what's next? Asking where the next game's going to be, and they start going into some district. Oh, wait, we already did that in this show.
Well, if they ask where the next game's going to be in the wild card round, they're in big trouble.
Okay, so here's the baseball ratings, okay? 17 teams saw their baseball ratings go up in 2023. One was flat, 11 went down.
Yep.
It should be pointed out that because the Blue Jays, Canadian, their data's not available.
Right.
So it's 2019. Sports Business Journal says 9 teams saw their local viewership increase by at least 25% in 2023. The biggest increase was by the Texas Rangers. Valley Sports. They doubled their ratings, up 99%. Okay? The Pirates saw their TV ratings on AT&T Sportsnet go up 72% this year. The Baltimore Orioles.
I figured they were on that list.
Up 65%. The Cincinnati Reds, 65%. The Chicago Cubs and Minnesota Twins both up 34%. The Phillies went up 30%. Okay? Now the Phillies rating in Philly, you know what the average Phillies rating is on NBC Sports Philly? 5.49. That is phenomenal.
That's incredible.
Okay? That is the highest local rating of any team in Major League Baseball. Okay? Now the Cardinals have long been one of the leaders, usually first, second, third.
Yeah.
Well, their ratings went down 27%.
Yeah.
Still, they were down to 5.30, by the way.
Yeah, their fan base is incredible in St. Louis.
Brewers up 12%.
Yep. And I'm seeing a common trend with a lot of this, aside from the Pirates.
They won.
They're winning,
Right? And the Pirates are a fun team to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Pirates and Reds, same thing.
I've said that all season
Reds with
long.
the Illy
Okay, this is not, right? The Yankees are boring to watch. The Pirates are fun
to watch.
Okay, so let's get to the Yankees. Okay? So let's talk about the 5 teams that were down 25%. The White Sox led the way. They were down 41%. They had a really tough summer. The Royals, down 30%. The Cardinals and Mets were both down 27%. And the Yankees fell 25% in their ratings from the year before. 6 teams had a local rating of under 1.0 in their markets. The White Sox just under at 0.99. The Angels of the Rockies 0.90. The Nationals,
especially
the Nationals, okay, actually saw their ratings increase slightly, but they increased to 0.85. The Marlins actually went up.
Not surprising.
14%.
Not surprising.
To 0.75. And then there's Oakland. Their ratings went down 23%. Their rating on NBC Sports California is 0.36.
Oh, my goodness. That is
Diamondbacks made the playoffs. Their viewership was up 25%. And despite the fact that the Padres had a rugged year,
star power,
they were down just 7%. But people in Pennsylvania, they're watching. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. And those are the Major League Baseball ratings. And we can debate whether Oakland's a Major League team or not.
They are bad.
Not a good team.
It's honestly almost sad to see. Because you look back, yes, I know it was the steroid era, but you look back in the 88, 89, 90, 91, there was not a more dominant team in baseball. They should have won more than one World Series.
Well, let's go back to Moneyball.
Yeah.
The A's would make the playoffs.
Yeah, with Giambi and Tejada, they were absolutely making the playoffs. Yeah.
They made the playoffs. They were always in it. Everybody was admired by the fact that they would do more with less.
Mm-hmm. Brant Balfour winning the division was a closer.
Right now they're doing less with less.
They're doing a lot less with less. It's embarrassing almost. And it's just, well, not almost. It's embarrassing for that franchise to be the way it is. And that to play in that park too. Obviously
the park is a big park.
It's a major problem. It's a terrible, terrible park. And I could say the same thing 25 years ago about Shea Stadium and Veterans Stadium. So it's not a West Coast thing by any means. Veteran Stadium was one of the absolute worst stadiums. Shea Stadium is the only reason it wasn't the worst.
Right. Yeah. So, I did talk about this yesterday, but it is a decent Isaac's birthday today.
All right. Happy birthday.
This guy has, to his credit, he's come back from a tough injury, and he is playing terrific football.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I can get lost. Sometimes I can get lost with the other people around him. But he does some things that help any team win.
Yeah, had a huge game last week, especially.
He's been good all season.
He sure, yes. And then, like I said yesterday, they missed him. And I will never, like I've said time and time again, first game is the first game. You don't ever judge a team by the first game. But they missed him in that game. They struggled against the run, especially in the first half against West Virginia. They missed Isaac in that game.
Yeah. And he is just really, really good. And he's the kind of guy you like being around. And he's overcome a lot.
Yeah.
His siblings, for people don't realize, all of his siblings are really struggling and nonverbal. Nonverbal. And his mother is now, she's the same. And he's the kind of guy, I hope he has a great success story, and I hope he makes money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they've had to overcome a lot. Now, we're going to cut the show short today for two reasons. One, Jerry Valeri has to interview a guest at 11:35. And to be honest with you, you're in left field today.
That's right.
I got the NBA thing. I got to give you credit. And when did it happen? 45 minutes into the show, you found a thought.
That's right. Better late than never.
And it was really good, by the way. It wasn't just okay. It was actually really, really good.
That's my one for the week.
Right? And what bothers me is I went to the high school football thing thinking it would be a strength.
He said, "Where is Carlisle?" But you could have meant where they are as a team. Yeah, that game is, for those listening to that is a road game. Friday night, down 322.
Maybe I could take some responsibility. I could have phrased it maybe better.
You phrased it right. I'm just making excuses.
But it just was one of the really
top five.
It was for a guy that's had a lot of low moments. This was a lot.
Top five.
You can tell we're really taking this seriously. If you think that we're taking this seriously, no. Well, it's actually down near the Maryland border, Steve. All right, back tomorrow. We'll start at a normal time, which I think could make a difference.